It is finally done. The super beautiful power walk simulator experience known as Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 has been completed. Did it yesterday. It's all done. I did it basically in one sitting since my last video. And all joking aside, I wanted to actually finish what I had started with this game in terms of trying to find the actual amount of gameplay it had in comparison to the full game. Now, you may be wondering why I called the title of this video a failed masterpiece. This game I considered a failed masterpiece because it is a masterpiece in terms of graphical fidelity, but a failure in actual game experience, in my opinion. Everything that I'm about to say is my opinion. So first off, you guys may be wondering, okay, well, how much game time was there and how much actual gameplay was there? So in my playthrough, the total game took me 5 hours and 57 minutes. In terms of actual gameplay, are you guys ready? Actual gameplay was 3 hours and 45 minutes. That means out of the whole game, 2 hours and 12 minutes were cutscenes. That means over only about 3 hours of the game is something that you can actually play and you're actually in control of. And even in that case, when I mean by control of in this game, it's not much. You're literally just holding up on the thumbstick to move forward, and then you're holding down A, or you're pressing A to dodge. So X and Y in this case would be your attacks. And then the trigger would allow you to use focus, and during combat that made it so that you're able to slow down time and unleash a series of attacks and basically take care of whatever enemy is in front of you without having the possibility of getting attacked by them. I don't really treat it as a game. I treat it as a cinematic experience where you are basically along the ride of a immense story. There's very little control. You're able to do some things, but it's just basically walking through and listening to dialogue the whole time the game is going. There's dialogue. There's not a break from dialogue. It is constant dialogue, from the background narrators to your side characters to Senua to the shadow man who just wants to pour his deep voice into your soul. Like, this guy just
would not shut up.
And then you also have the narrators, the two women that are just constantly bickering back and forth. They're talking to Senua through narration. It was kind of overwhelming. The left ear was one narrator, the right ear was another narrator. The way they want you to be using headphones when you play this game, and that's the reason why. With that being said, I do want to talk about why I feel like a lot of this had to deal with the transition going from Unreal Engine 4, which is what this game originally was gonna be, but then with the announcement and release of Unreal Engine 5 and then the developer's choice to put everything in this game under Unreal Engine 5 as to make it as the next major game in terms of using Unreal Engine 5, at what cost did that come from? Because there definitely were some costs to making that choice. This game originally was supposed to come out with the release of Xbox Series X as like the major first party release for the brand new console, but they made that choice to go to Unreal Engine 5, and so they got pushed back till basically this week, 2024 in May. And one of the things when it comes to game design and having games such as this that use very high quality or high level of detail, there's always a lowest denominator in terms of where this game is going to be ported. And so in this case, I feel like the lowest denominator was the Xbox Series X consoles, because they also have the Xbox Series S, and they always port their Xbox games to all of their consoles. And with this being an Unreal Engine 5 game, they had to cut some corners, and probably in ways that they didn't want to. They were kind of limited in what they were able to do. And so one of the things I point out to with regards to that is how the game constantly has black bars to make it more of like a cinematic experience, but it also cuts off portions of the screen, so there's not as much on the screen, which may help systems be able to run this smoother. So on console, this game actually is locked at 30 FPS. The idea of the next gen console at the time of their release was to be able to play higher quality games at higher frame rates, which the idea was to be able to target 60 FPS, and this game being only 30 FPS on Xbox consoles is the result of it just being too good looking, I guess, in my opinion. And also the consoles are running on hardware that was good at the time of the original planned date of this game, which would have been good for like Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 5 is still pretty new. There's not that many games that are Unreal Engine 5. The recommended spec are like 30 series or above if you have NVIDIA cards. The consoles are not near that right now. Like they could get close to it, but you don't be limited to 30 FPS, which this game is. Now, another thing to consider with this game, did this result in the game being only in 5 to 6 hours long in respect to the file size? Because one thing I noticed with this game is that for it being only 5 hours long, it is still a 50 gigabyte game. That is a pretty big size. So what does that mean moving forward in regards to Unreal Engine 5 games that will be coming out in the future? For me, I feel like the goal for those games now are to find a balance of gameplay experience and technological achievement. With Hellblade 2, it was too much technological achievement and very little gameplay experience, if that makes sense. Now, since this game is out, other companies now have this as an example of what they could do, what they can improve upon in order to make longer games that have this engine and be able to make a more gameplay experience. It's something that will happen over time in the next few years. Now, in terms of what I would view this game as a comparison to games before it, I feel like this was Xbox's major attempt to make their Last of Us, because there are moments when you play this game that reminded me of playing of Last of Us. One, there's literally an enemy in this game that does the clicking noises, and I feel like they're exactly from The Last of Us. Here's an example. Alright, and two, the combat is quite similar to the combat from The Last of Us. Part 2, at least. Maybe a little bit of Part 1, but Part 2 for sure. The way where you're on the left side of the screen, the enemy's on the right side of the screen, and you are waiting for them to attack, or you are able to attack, and you have to parry, block, dodge, and then attack. It's the exact same type of combat. So that is one of the things that I feel like they did an attempt at doing that with the highest graphical technology that's out there, and it came at the cost of everything that I mentioned before. They had to rely on what they were able to do in terms of having a very high quality looking game and not being able to do everything that those games had to offer before. But with this being the first one, this is a good foundation to be able to grow from here and make a game with this type of quality bigger and offer more experience. Overall, Senua's Saga was a good time because there's moments in this game that are actually insane. Like the giants are really cool. I thought they were pretty cool. Their whole setting, like they each had their own individual area and they varied differently, and that was pretty cool. Now, the landscape of this game, they are all similar. It's just rocks. It's just rocks and then different colored rocks. But that's all it is. Like there's an ocean, like there's desert, and then there's trees, and then rocks. But the rocks are all like the same thing. Like it's like they took the rock assets from that Unreal Engine 5 demo showcase and then just applied different colors to it. That's basically the best way I can explain it. It's because they all mention that they're in the game, that they're all from this village or town, and there's no town. There's a little village, but then it's just a bunch of rocks. There's no town on this distance. Where are these people living? There's nothing. That is not a good area to live. You don't really see any actual town until the very end of the game, and even then, that town is in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. That's just me, though. Maybe it's just the Viking thing, and that basically is the idea of there's only like little fortresses or little villages, and there's nothing around. But I'm pretty sure that's not the case. There's roads going out to other areas, but I don't know. That's one thing I took from this game. I was like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of copy and paste. I hate to say that, but it's not. Well, it's not really copy and paste, but copy and alter. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that was another thing that I noticed about this game. I was like, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, this game is for sure. If you have Xbox Game Pass, this is perfect. Because it is literally available. You can download it right now if you have Xbox Game Pass on PC or on Xbox Series X, whatever systems you're using, and just be able to enjoy the experience for 5 hours and be like, cool, awesome. In terms of buying it, it doesn't seem like a lot of people went the buying route. On Steam, I just checked this actually today. Only 790 people are in game. That's it. So I feel like most people are treating this game as a Game Pass game and are experiencing it that way, and we'll move on from there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I figured I'd just make this video here, and hopefully you guys have some stuff to say down below regarding this game. It has been in the works for a long time, and it's finally out, and I can't wait to see what happens next in regards to Unreal Engine 5 games. This is a good foundation, but where can they go from here? That's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know what's in store next in terms of games. I gotta figure out what's coming up. There's not much out right now. Well, I know like there's Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring? I don't know. I'll figure something out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.